Today, we are talking about working with resistant clients, one of my favorite topics to talk about. And actually, resistant clients are one of my most favorite clients to work with. It didn't used to be that way. So, today I'll be sharing you a lot of great wisdom and insight with regards to working with resistant clients, because hint, hint, it's not the client's problem that they are resistant, right? There is something obviously unconsciously that is making them resist. And this is something that is not talked about a lot, like actual unconscious resistance. So we're going to talk about that today. And there will be three questions with regards to working with resistant clients that I want to share with you today, because these were definitely questions that I had asked myself when I wasn't really that competent enough yet to work with resistant clients. So here we go. The three questions I'm going to answer today are: number one, a client says it didn't work or the hypnosis didn't work, but they're just saying that it didn't work. What do I do? Second is for clients who say, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. How do you respond? And number three, how do you approach clients who cannot see images or describe their feelings and sensations? So let's start off with the first one. If a client says it didn't work, we want to approach this as with curiosity at first, right? What do they mean it didn't work? A prime example that I like to give that really helps us help our clients better is that, for example, a client comes to you and it's a weight loss. They came to you because they wanted to lose weight, and they're like, the scale has not shifted. I might have gained weight as well, and it's just not working because I'm not losing weight. We know that them not losing weight is a symptom, right? We know that. We've gone through our session and we've gotten to the actual core problem with regards to the weight. And so, maybe weeks go by and they say the scale hasn't shifted. We actually want to place our clients' attention on what actually has happened, other than the weight loss. So, what you want to ask your client is that, okay, so in the session, we said, or we agreed that you were going to eat healthier foods. Are you doing that? Right. And they also said, I'm going to have some exercise 3 to 5 times a week. Ask them, question them, are they doing that? And if they're not doing that, or again, another one is stress, right? Are they managing their stress levels? Are they sleeping adequately? So we want to really help our clients see the different factors that could affect something like weight loss, and if there are any changes there, or if there are not any changes there, that is also feedback for us, right? It's not a bad thing. We're all here to learn. We're all here to get better at our craft. So what we really want to do is explore all the different things that could affect weight loss. So for example, it's been 3 weeks with this client and they are exercising. They are eating healthy. Their sleep has improved. They have more energy in the day. And they're like, well, but the scale hasn't changed. But here they are telling you that they love exercising now. Their sugar cravings have gone down and they've been completely adherent to the a way of eating that they wanted, and then they're sleeping well, they have more energy, and all they're more confident as well. Their clothes are starting to fit much better, right? And they can see themselves actually shrink in the mirror, but they're like, oh, but the scale didn't didn't change, right? What we want to do is, instead of telling the clients, well, muscle weighs more than fat, which is, and we're not talking about that today, that's actually not true, but anyway. But sometimes our clients' attention are just not on the things that are actually working, and sometimes all of these things, the sleep, the energy levels, the diet, all of these things need to actually heal first before that weight drops. And having this really deep knowledge and guiding our clients and coaching our clients through that is such an amazing skill set to have. So you actually want to explore this, right? And if the energy levels are all good, and you talk to your clients and you're like, okay, so all of these things have changed. Why are you still focused on the weight and the scale? Right. And, sometimes it's just that reality check, or of them saying, oh, yeah, shit, like before working together, I did not have this. I am actually very happy with this result. And you can still untie the knots in their minds with at that point, but getting them to see the results they actually have. And sometimes these things take time, right? Sometimes the weight loss, like the weight on the scale, takes a very long time to or it takes some time for everything internally to heal first before that weight drops. So having your clients see that and look at that. And so that's one way, like where they actually have results, but they're not seeing it. But what if there are no results, right? No results, and they can't seem to think about what the actual transformation is. Yes, they haven't seen it yet. Well, what you could do is like actually explore what else is going on. Maybe we just haven't untied all the knots yet, right? I say it knots because in our advanced conversational hypnosis sessions, we call these knots these entanglement within their neural pathways that are preventing them to actually naturally do the thing that they want to do. So exploring more of the knots, maybe they need another session to untie more of that stuff, and then it could get better. But really, at the principle, at the core, we want to have a discussion with our clients with regards to what they mean by it didn't work. Like, did they actually also expect that they'll be hypnotized and then somehow, like, just in a click of a finger, that they'll just magically lose the weight? Like, is that really possible? Did we actually set our clients up for success with regards to educating them regarding how that is not how it works? So we want to really explore that as well. So I hope that helped with that particular question. So next question is clients who say, I don't know, what do you say? So I encourage you to think about what you're actually doing right now when clients say, I don't know. If you've been trained in NLP, you probably were taught to say, well, what if you did know, client? You don't know, but what if you did know? And then maybe if you were trained in language patterns, you probably were like, well, if you knew the knowing that has known you for a while, that now you know, what is it that you know? Stupid. That sounded very bizarre, but that is actually what you do not want to do. And here's the reason why. It, we're going to take the same weight loss client because that's the example, that's the theme for today. And they're like, and you're asking, so what is stopping you from actually eating healthier? And they keep saying, I don't know. I don't know. Well, what if you did know? Like, just like look at it from a client's perspective. Like if you were to be asked that question, you have been stuck in this, you know, for example, it's a client who has been stuck in the binge cycle of sugar, right? And you ask, and they've tried so many things so hard. That's why they're with us, because they want hypnosis to help them with binge eating, because they've tried everything. And then we ask them, okay, so what if you did know? Like, how does that make sense? How does that make sense to be asking our clients that they do not know, right? They do not know. They need help figuring it out. And by us forcing them by saying, well, what if you did know? Well, some clients are going to be like, I don't fucking know. That's why I'm here, to ask for your help. And or they'll make things up to appease us, right? That could also be another way that they could do it. And they'll make things up because of whatever they heard from other therapists online about, maybe it's like a curse that they've somehow gotten from somewhere in their timeline, which may or may not be true or proven to be true, right? And then that makes it more complicated for us to help them, because now we're adding all that shit that is actually not the problem to begin with. Maybe that client just doesn't know how to actually eat healthy, right? And so what we want to do instead, if a client says, I don't know, is to, first of all, don't make it mean anything about us. Don't panic. Don't let it discourage us. And instead, just ask another question. That is it. If a client says, I don't know, just ask another question. Sometimes pausing and asking the client again with intention and encouraging them to actually think about it is going to be the best. Because sometimes some people, if they get asked a question and they don't immediately know that answer, they somehow panic and they just say, I don't know, right? Instead of pausing and actually contemplating what is being asked of them, because we can do that, right? Like we can creatively think. So it's just not something that is natural for them. And so sometimes just being like, okay, Jane Doe, what is actually stopping you from eating healthier? Just think about it for me. And being very intentional with a question that way, you can see the intention in my voice and me encouraging her to actually think of that question. That is going to be much more powerful than saying after that question, I don't know. And then me saying, okay, so what if you did know? And then they go, like, I really like, I don't know. And then that's why they become resistant, right? And so just ask another question, get better creatively at asking a question in different ways, because really that sometimes just how we phrase a question is something that maybe a client just didn't interpret it as you intended, right? Which happens. That's humans. That's normal. This is what we do. And so you really want to just keep asking the questions in many different ways. And that's why inside our conversational hypnosis trainings, there are so many demo breakdowns. There's actually one for weight loss there where it's a symptom anyway, so it doesn't matter. But this is exactly why I do the breakdowns for my students, because there is, there's an art to obviously being able to ask questions that allow for them to retrieve unconscious information, which is what we truly want, right? And sometimes this is a skill set, and that's why this is actually a skill set that is not taught anywhere that I know of, where we actually really just get better at the investigation phase. And that's why the ACH program is super special, because it is it is the skill set that you'll learn there is, I bet you, not some of the trainings out there will not have those skill sets that we teach there. Very, very important. And so and another thing is that sometimes a client, that's just a reflex response. I don't know, right? Like, I don't know, because they don't want to think about it. So just ask them a different question or encourage them to really ponder that question. That is how I would approach these clients. So the last question is, okay, so how do you approach clients who cannot see images or describe feelings and sensations? So I love this because I am someone who actually cannot see an image. Like if you ask me to visualize an apple, like there's no apple to be visualized in my mind. Like I super terrible with regards to that. But I am someone who feels sensations. And so what if you get that one client who is not very good at feeling their sensations, or is not very like visual picturesque type person? Well, there are many other ways that our unconscious mind communicates, right? If you don't know the different types, make sure you comment unconscious moments below, because I have specific trainings specifically talking about unconscious moments, the different types. There's visual and there's auditory. So, them seeing images is more, I guess, visual for them, but we don't really notice it as much. But if a client cannot see images, or they're not very into their bodies and feelings, there are other visual cues and other auditory cues that we can look for instead. So really the simplest way I can answer this question is that just look for other unconscious moments. So I'll give you an example. Metaphors are a big one. When sometimes a client won't have feelings or images, and we've actually had a demo in one of the trainings where one of the clients we had wasn't very into her body. She could like kind of cognitively state her emotions, but wouldn't really go deep into it. And actually she did see some images in the form of metaphors, and we talked about being in this wide open space, and there's a space here, and then there's little, I forget the actual detail, but there were there were details about the space that she was able to describe to us. So instead of them, actually asking them to, hey, visualize the person of you who already has your dreams. What is it like? Visualize a timeline of where you're at. If they can't do that, that's not their fault. That's just not how their brain works, period. Right? That's not how everyone's brains work. I cannot also fathom having different timelines. I don't understand that. But for some clients who do, and they have metaphors, they're talking about these like imagery, jump on those, right? Another one that most people don't realize is super important are the conflicts as well. Conflicts between conscious and unconscious are super, super important. So if your clients aren't visual, they can't feel into the emotions in their body, but they have so many conflicts in their minds that are coming up in our session. So another example would be, again, weight loss. So I really want to eat healthy. I want to start eating very healthy, but I just love like sugar so much. I just love cake, but I want to eat healthy. So that's a pretty common conflict there, right? They want to eat healthy, but what they're doing is that they're choosing the sugar, right? They're choosing the cakes, cookies, whatever. And so what we want to do is just address those, right? Address those within our sessions instead of forcing them to see images and sensations, because there's like literally an unlimited amount of ways that we can help a client access their unconscious expressions. We just need to know exactly what to do with it, right? And again, that's what the ATH course is all about, teaching you the many different ways as to how us as humans actually communicate. Body language is another thing, right? How are they body or how is their body language, right? If they're saying, oh my God, I'm so happy, but they're like this, like their body language is like this, and they're going, oh my God, I'm so happy. And you're like, it don't look like you're happy, look like you're happy at all. Pointing that out are, again, big unconscious moments that we can utilize within our sessions too. So again, long story short, if someone doesn't visualize, someone doesn't feel their emotions, there are many other ways that our clients expresses their unconscious information. And if you want mini trainings on that, comment unconscious moments. And this is what we will teach you throughout 3 days of the live training. And it's already in the course as well. We talk about unconscious moments a lot because this is really the key to breakthroughs within 5 minutes of your sessions, and really confidently working with resistant clients so that you don't have to stress out and lose sleep before your sessions. That definitely happened to me. I was like, oh my God, I'm losing sleep. I'm so stressed out. I'm restless in bed because I have the session the next morning and this client is resistant and doesn't see images. Oh my God, are they going to see any scenes? I don't have that anymore because I know that there are very many different ways where our clients can actually express their unconscious information where we don't have to force them. It's very organic, very natural. It is such a much faster, efficient way to actually help our clients. So I hope that this helped, and all of these questions, all of the answers to these questions are giving you a lot of insight with regards to how to approach your next session, because how you'll actually get better at this is whenever the next time you have a resistant client to apply these principles. And so if you have any questions, let me know, and I will see you next week.